Guys, we're back.
We're back, guys.
Yes.
Oh, I gotta remember to look up there.
Yes, up here.
Because I want to look at the screen.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of that.
And it's super hard.
How's everybody doing? We're back from our vacation.
Yeah.
We're super refreshed. We're ready to go. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks so much for bearing with us. I know we haven't had a whole lot of content. A lot of fantastic shorts, though. So make sure you go check those out if you didn't.
And I got a couple extra shorts coming. And one Donnie reminded me about that he to post.
Yeah, there you go. So,
but I want to go back to Alaska. If you have not been, I highly recommend going back to Alaska.
Yeah.
It was a great trip. Cold all the time. We're from Texas. This is the time where it's going to stay hot until October, end of October even.
Right.
So I'm kind of dreading the heat now because of that. But we do have some announcements real quick first, cover some news items. One big thing is Circa on July 19th is having what they're calling the first ever biggest slot event in the world. It's called Slotapalooza. It starts with an all-day slot tournament for $20,000. They're expecting to have tons of people in there. It's all free to enter. There's no cost and all that. You do have to be 21 and up because Circa is 21 and up only. But that's going to be going on July 19th. Other news is everyone, now this is everyone, every state is up for this quarter except for Las Vegas. Las Vegas has had its third consecutive month with year-over-year decline, and they're looking at having their second quarter decline. Those numbers won't be in until July, but it is looking like it's going to be another decline, and no one can explain why. Are people just fed up going to Vegas? Are they fed up with resort fees? Are they fed up with all the different fees, the expense, the quality going downhill, the staff going downhill, the fees of now some places are charging fees for housekeeping. All the parking fees are back unless you're a certain status and everything else. So that could be a thing. We're going to see if this next quarter turns out just as bad, and Vegas might have to do some rethinking.
I think we're probably going to see a lot of surveys coming out soon.
I think so. I think we're going to see surveys.
Asking,
And my biggest hope is we see the math change on tier pointing, on how points are done, table games getting a rebalance with the slots. Maybe we see a lot more better programs. I do have to say I'm getting a lot more emails from MGM than I usually do, and they're sort of outlining all their different programs, that some things that were a surprise to me, like because they changed their gold status. Now gold status no longer gets their $100 a year food credit. It is now turned into a sort of a $100 a year celebration credit, and that can be used anywhere in the casino. So it could be used at the spa, at food, anywhere else. It's not just food credit, which it has been. That also got changed for platinum as well. There's now a cruise credit for gold, which isn't that wow, but at the same time, it's not bad. It's something you get for achieving gold. They also have their milestone things going on. So if you do achieve a level, Pearl up, you get something going on to next year. So these are things that feel like they're trying to pull all this. Quick point on travel. And then Mark's going to follow up with his travel. So June 24th through the 26th, I will be in Las Vegas. I'll be playing at the World Series of Poker Tag Team event. Our buddy George, who's a big follower on this channel for a long time, Bricker Hammer George, you might remember him if you've been around a while. He's in the chat. Okay. George said last year, Dave, I want you to come play in this tag team event with me. And I'm like, George, do you mean me? Are you sure? I've never considered myself a world-class poker player. I'm a decent tournament player, but I've never done extremely well. Like, I've never got a bracelet, obviously. I've never placed in the money on a big event. But I have sort of retrospect back a little bit. My whole tournament career, I'm about 1/3 in finishing in the money for all the tournaments I've entered. So that's not horrible.
No, that's great.
I do feel insecure about going to this tournament, though. I'm not like, but George is being super supportive, said, no, we're doing great, all that, blah, just be yourself. I'm also going to be back in Vegas in August. There is a cruise certificate piece that I'm going to try to get. Had nothing to go on that weekend. Prices were great, so I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go there before the summer ends, and where I can enjoy those cheap flights and all that. We do have some Atlantic City updates, but I'll wait until Mark does his, and then I'll do mine as well.
Sounds good.
You want to take it away, Mark?
I
Mark's
guess
got
I'll
some
take it
news
away.
to share.
All
And
right,
it is
guys.
cruise related.
It's definitely cruise related. So we did go to the Alaskan cruise. We had a great time. If you guys have never done that, make sure you do. I will say that if you do, or you have done an Alaskan cruise before, next time you go back, go land-based. Start in Anchorage, go up towards the,
it's definitely-
McKinley National Park, Denali. You can ride the railroad. We did that as kids with my family, and I did it with my wife on our honeymoon. And I see you in there, Jodes. Thanks for being here. And she's off for 3 weeks, so it's Bachelor City.
Bachelor City for Mark.
Yes.
There's going to be pizza boxes
Oh,
stacked
man,
everywhere.
You have no idea. I just need to know what day she's coming back, so I have time to clean
Time to
up. So
don't forget to clean up.
I'm not that dirty, guys, really. But anyway, I want to kind of go to a serious note here just a little bit, guys, because something happened on this cruise trip for me that is kind of giving me some pause on something that is pretty common in my life right now, and I wanted to share it with all of you and then offer something that I think no other YouTube channel has ever even considered doing. So let me kind of just tell you the story. We, of course, visited the casino on the ship, which in my opinion was terrible. It's an awful casino. There's only they say there's 164 games. I don't see how that's possible. I think maybe
so.
80
Yeah.
total. It's very cramped, very smoky. I don't think the payback percentages are horrible or anything like that, but it's just there's not a lot of selection on the boat. And so we played a little bit. I played probably $200 in the first couple days we were there, and then I said I have no interest in going back to this casino because it's just not, the vibes weren't there, if that makes sense, right? So ultimately, I stayed out of the casino until the last day, and I was a little antsy, guess a little bored, and Dave was in there, so I was like, yeah, I'll go and play another 100, see what happens. And why you put yourself in here?
Crap. I didn't mean to do that.
That's okay. I think I can kick you
Go
out.
back to, there we go.
go.
There we go. Okay.
And turn the sound off on it.
Oh, it's already off.
Okay, gotcha. So, no, because I can hear it.
Now
Hear
it's off.
myself echoing.
There we go. You shouldn't hear it because the mic's muted.
So,
Weird.
and guys, if you want to go ahead and start asking your questions, we'll start starring those up, and we'll get to the questions section a little bit. But let me finish my story real quick. So anyway, that last day, I played 100, didn't do so well. I played another 100, didn't do so well, and then I fell into the trap. And this is the trap that we are talking about constantly on this channel, teaching you about things that you need to look out for and avoid. And I made the second mistake that I've made in a year, and that is I spent around $1,000 within 10 minutes because I was sucked into a game, and because of the convenience of a room charge, it was just too easy for me to keep adding money. I lost control. Dave was not paying attention to me.
I was not.
He was turned around.
I was turned around. I
Yep.
wasn't watching, but that was my fault on that. I failed as a gambling buddy.
And I instantly stopped after the 1,000, and I walked out of the casino, went back to my room, and my wife, Jody, was there, and I told her, I just straight up told her, I went to the casino, I shouldn't have. She was obviously frustrated, as she had every right to be. She said some things that really meant a lot to me, and I said, Dave, do you mind talking to me for just a little bit?
Yeah.
We met. He instantly came and met up with me. We talked it through. I said, it's not devastating. $1,000 is not the end of the world. It is what it is. But how I did it, breaking the rules that I know I've put in place, is what upset me the most. And so I instantly decided at that point that I will be taking a break from all forms of gambling for the next 3 months. That means no casino visits. That means no scratch-offs, lottery tickets, anything that's gambling related. I'm putting a hard stop on so that I can gather my thoughts back and go back in with the confidence again. Because right now, after that event, I felt terrible.
And the thing is, I want to say is, I was super proud of Mark for saying that, because he instantly came to me and said, I screwed up.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, you did. I was not sugarcoating it, but I said, look at it in a grand scheme of things. You feel this way for $1,000. Previously, you wouldn't have felt this way for $1,000. It would have had to been more. So think about it as the training wheels fell off. Right. That's going to happen whenever you learn to ride a bike. And I said, look, I've been doing this for 30 years. I got to where I am now by screwing up. Okay, I learned all the hard way, which is what we said over and over again. We want to make sure you guys know that we want to learn. We want you to learn from our mistakes. And Mark's telling you about his mistake, and it's okay that it happened. He's going to be not happening again. He's going to do all the things to that, but that's good that he had that retrospect and he said, "Time out. I got to go on." Go ahead, Mark.
No, it's fine. And I think this isn't a gut reaction kind of thing. This isn't the thing where I just said it and then 2 weeks later I'm like, "Hey, Dave, let's go to WinStar." It's not like that at all. I felt like the only way that I can solve it at this point, because this is now the second time in a little over a year that I've kind of fallen victim to this stuff, and it's part of me, right? Like, I grew up as a kid. My grandparents used to get me scratch offs all the time. You know, it's just the way I've been tuned my entire life. And, you know, up until the last day of the cruise, I felt like I was in pretty good control. But all of the things, and we talk about this, all of the things just happened to just stop, and I was not being reasonable at all. Like, the reason,
you lock it out in
logical,
your brain.
I was not thinking about it. I was just thinking about getting the stupid bonus because I got it before and I won a lot, so I wanted to get it again. All of the things that we tell you to prevent was happening to me, right? But I think the important thing to realize is that if you guys ever enter that situation, you should do the same thing that I did and immediately stop, get some support from a good friend, your spouse, whatever. Talk it out. Be transparent about it. Don't hide it, because if you hide it, you're not going to solve it. You're just going to make it worse and worse on yourself, because then there's no penalty, right? You're just going to sneak out and go to the casino again because everybody thinks everything's okay, but you know that you're not okay. And so that's why I decided I'm going to take a 3-month hiatus from all forms of gambling. And I thought, you know what? Somebody brought this up in our member live chat right before this. And I think this is the perfect situation. No YouTuber, to my knowledge, has ever done this. If any of you guys want to take a break from gambling, let's say a minimum of a month, let's form a support group. I'm going to form a live chat room for all of us to come in there and support each other for these, however long that you want to be away, right? And we'll check in with each other. How was today? Well, today was a tough day because my friends went to the casino and I couldn't. Let's talk it out. Yeah. You know, let's talk about other stuff. Maybe we'll watch a movie together or something. I think this would be a great idea.
Not the movie Casino.
Not the movie, no casino related.
Yeah,
we got to stay away from the casinos, right? We don't need to feed into temptation.
Actually, you should all watch The Gambler together.
Well, yeah.
That is the best.
That's probably a good one.
That is the best movie to watch. Absolutely. Yeah. Everyone should watch The Gambler. It is such a good movie. Yeah.
So if any of you guys are interested in joining me in this, stay tuned. I'm going to do a whole video on kind of this experience and what I've learned from it and what I'm planning to do about it. And then I'll provide a link for you can join and we can kind of group up and just kind of help support each other. I know it's not going to be easy, especially with helping run a channel that is all about gambling, right? It's tough, right? But there's a lot to gambling that is outside of the actual activity of doing so. And I think this is a good opportunity for me to focus on those things, kind of walk you through my feelings at the time. I remember everything. I remember exactly when I lost control, what I was thinking at the time, how I was reasoning with myself, saying it's not a big deal. I'll just sell some machines when I get back and recoup the money, and then I'll do it again, you know? And those are the things that I was telling myself as I was pulling credits into my machine from my room charge. You know, that's what was going through my mind at the time. And for whatever reason, I couldn't stop, all right? I at least stopped myself before the damage was severe, right? It was not good. It wasn't terrible. I at least knew that if I spent even more than this, then things were going to really start to fall off the cliff. And I said, I just got to let it go. I got to let this machine go. I got to get up. I got to walk away. And I got to make a serious decision now. Not a decision that's temporary, a serious decision to put something in place to just stop. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be in a casino for the next 3 months. This is something that I feel very strongly about. I feel excited about it. I told Dave at lunch today, I feel great.
Feel good.
I feel great.
That weight is off your back. Right. You know, it's that when they talk about the monkey, not our monkey, different monkey, being on your back. That's what they mean. They mean that weight, that constant piece that's on your back that's poking you to keep going, and that's what you don't need it. You know, you don't need it. But so Mark's already got this whole thing where he's going to go, and he's putting the training wheels back on. Like I said, He's going to go start using the timer boxes again. He's going to start using the lock box again. And this is the stuff you recenter.
Yep.
You start over, you get your mindset right, and then you go back. You don't go back right away without getting your mind right, you know?
Yeah,
you just got to have it.
That's so true. And I'm going to be, again, doing a dedicated video on all this because there's some triggers that I think people need to be very cautious of. And that is mostly betting around your comfort level. But there's a point in time where betting that amount for most of us no longer becomes satisfying enough, where you don't get that dopamine hit anymore because it's just such a low amount. I mean, I don't want to play pennies anymore. What, I'm going to win $10? What am I going to do with $10? You know, that kind of thing. And so what you end up doing is going to 5 cents and then to 10 cents. The next thing you know, you're playing dollars and $5 and $10 machines because you're looking for that dopamine hit that you weren't getting previously. And a lot of us fall for that, and I'm one of them. I'm here to admit to you guys that that is probably my biggest weakness, is that I'm just not getting the excitement. And that's why it's been fine up until this very point, at that very moment in that casino where everything just went out the wall. And I'm not beating myself up, but I am frustrated enough to do something about it. And I think that's the important thing. That's the lesson that we want to try to teach you guys, is that if you do fall into this, stop before it gets worse, right? And that's the hardest thing, because I could have just kept pumping money out until it just stopped, right? Until it just said you can't charge anything more to your room. I could have totally done that, but I decided 1,000 was pretty rough. I actually thought it was more like 1,800 because that's how I was feeling at the time, but it was actually only 1,000, but still the same thing. It doesn't matter if it was 500, 300, 1,500, 6,000. It doesn't matter what the amount was. It's what I was feeling and how I was continuing to bet higher and things like that. That's what needed to stop. So,
and we actually have a good question
that
I'm going to show real quick, which is from Richard Jacobs. Why did you take that much money with the cruise? Well, I'm going to be doing a separate video on gambling on cruises, and I'm going to outline this piece directly because he didn't bring the money with him. It's available on your Sail Inside card, your Shore card, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
You can just do it instantly, and it's right there at your fingertips. The temptation is super high.
Yeah.
Like, it is incredibly high, and it's right there just that you can do it.
Yeah.
And I completely disagree with it because I view it just as a debit card.
It is.
And it's a debit card that essentially you can click. And so, he didn't bring any extra money.
No, I didn't.
That's the way it,
No,
the temptation was there.
I had $200 on the ship that I was using in cash. And I used those, but then I came back and was like, oh, I'll do a room charge for 100. That's not terrible, you know? And then, of course, it just, how quick it was, how easy it was. My brain was then trained, I'll just pull another 100 and then another 200 and then another 100.
Another one from Liz. What game was it, Mark? So I'm gonna put what I was watching. You know, the casino the games you were playing, you couldn't go higher than an 880 bet. That was the high bet. Okay, so it was 88 fortune, $8.88. The problem is that at 888 on that game, you can go really fast.
Yeah.
I mean, $100 is 10 spins. You know, roughly. You know, $80. You know, so that goes really fast. So when you're talking about $1,000, you're only talking about 100 spins and gone. So it can totally happen with any game. The games where the cruise were not great, so they definitely didn't offer any of the return that you would have seen in other casinos. Not that it was any better, but at the same time, there was no wins back at all. So it was full on chase.
Yep. All right, well, we don't need to beat a dead horse, but I wanted to share that story. I wanted, the first thing that I thought of is I want to be public about this. I want to be transparent because if I can help somebody else out that's in a similar situation so you don't have to go through what I just did, then that's great for me. That's a good, I guess not benefit, but it's a good motivator for me to continue. But I'm going to do that. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned for the video. I'm going to put out details about if any of you guys want to join me. Think of it kind of like a, No Shave November or something, like where we're going to just be a group of people that just stop all gambling for a certain period of time and help support each other through it. I just think that would be a cool idea. So
I can't star anything.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Because you're not in StreamYard, but.
I am in StreamYard.
Oh, you are in StreamYard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So T-Bone, it's just water. I am incredibly dehydrated.
I just got the Dixie cups.
We're
solo
in
cups.
here working in our new studio, our new office space. We've got machines over there that we're getting ready to ship. These are display machines, our show machines of what we have in stock. So the AC does work, but it takes a long time to get up and going. And if we're not here, we don't have the AC on. So yeah, I've got water.
No slot summer. I like that brute force poker. That's great.
And you know, it is, when you think about it, the casino is kind of like a refuge to go to in the summer because it's always
hot.
air conditioned
Yeah,
in there.
that's true.
So, you know, it definitely makes it a good thing to go. All right, so what did I miss here?
Well, let's start getting to some general Q&A, guys. If you have anything, definitely start asking, and we'll start going from there.
There have been a couple of good ones.
Yep. Tim R. Pat says, I still hear my sound from something.
It's not from here.
Yes, it is. Tim R. Pat, last trip down, top dollar news. First 3 sessions were small winners. Last session, I went 184 spins before the bonus to win $60. Yeah. Top dollar can be rough sometimes, especially with that. I don't hear it anymore. Is it your phone?
No, it's this thing.
Oh,
Look,
it was? It was
look,
a little bit?
Bam, I put it down.
I kept hearing myself in my ear, and I was like, what's going on here?
Look at that. Muted, unmuted, muted, unmuted.
Just so it doesn't let you. That's weird.
That's
and Randy
stupid.
C, $5 super sticker. Thank you so much, Randy. I appreciate you. Well, we appreciate you. All right. And John Smoot says, do casinos or manufacturers routinely do software updates on slots that could change frequency of bonuses, et cetera?
They almost never.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's true. When a game is built, there's a certain frequency of the bonus. Now, there could be some deviation on either side based on the payback percentage setting of that machine itself, but it's not something they routinely do, if ever. Most of the times, casinos will do maybe once a year or once every 2 years, they will change payback percentage across the whole floor. It's a very laborious process, and so it's not something that they do often. Plus, it's a long-term metric, right? It's not something that they do quickly, because even a low payback percentage slot machine can pay quite a bit in the short term. So it's just not something that they do.
Just go back to my phone.
1999 super chat from George. Oh,
Thank
I
you,
just got a
George.
machine from these guys and it's awesome. Saves me so much money because I play Diamond Queen every day now and the thrill is gone.
That's your
Very
own fault
true.
for playing Diamond Queen,
Very
George.
true. Highly recommended. Great 5-star service. They deliver and set it up too. Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.
I appreciate that.
And I'll be seeing you soon, George.
That's right.
I'm actually, George is like, don't worry about it. I'm like, man, I need to bring my A game. I need to show up
I need
and
to be
really
ready, yeah.
need to be ready, you know.
Let's see.
This is absolutely the worst. Now I'm on my phone because it
Yeah.
won't mute on my iPad. I'm hitting mute and it won't. Technology.
Scotty
hates
has a
me.
good question. I haven't seen this before. Any way to set up a MAME game machine? It's basically like a machine that is generic and play multiple different games. So the MAME is the whole arcade cabinet thing where you can emulate the arcade games that you used to play or still play inside of whatever arcades are left. Unfortunately, there really isn't anything kind of like that for slot machines except for like the really, really old ones. For like the old Barcrest European ones, I've seen some MAME emulators for that. But the best thing to do is there are some places that you can play slots for free online, like in demo mode. We actually offer that to our members where you can go and play. I mean, there's probably over 9,000 or 10,000 different slot machine games. A lot of the ones that are out there too, like your Huff and Puffs and Top Dollars and Wheel of Fortunes and stuff. Something we offer our members that you can come and play those for free on your tablet or on your on the website. But that's probably your best bet right now is to do that because they're all licensed and they're making a ton of money off of being inside of these mobile apps and selling you virtual coins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're not going to see any kind of MAME releases and stuff like that anytime soon. Good question, though.
Also from Richard Jacobs asked about the trip to Connecticut. So I'm on the fence right now. I might still be coming out. I'm going to shorten the trip up to just be basically Friday through Sunday. So Thursday night at Atlantic City like we planned previously, and Connecticut until Sunday. So I'd be shortening up my trip a lot so it's cheaper on the channel. The great thing is that our hotels are covered, so it's just flight and rent a car. And I haven't talked to NJ Slot Guy yet, so I'm going to look at returning the rent a car in Newark and getting a ride from him, which would help him out because then someone would be riding with him. It wouldn't be boring. But as long as I can get a ride to the airport, that's
Yeah.
probably what I'm going to do is just shorten up the trip. And
I haven't made a final decision on whether I'm going or not, guys, but it's one of those things that it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough.
he won't be gambling if he does go.
No, I won't be gambling. That's true.
He'll be enjoying the Northeast.
I don't know.
Isn't there like foliage?
Is there anything to enjoy?
Foliage. Like everybody
New
goes and
Jersey.
sees the trees.
New Jersey. The only thing to enjoy are casinos and toll booths. That's it.
No, there's also a lot of toxic chemicals to enjoy.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It is called the Garden State, but I've been in New Jersey twice. I have never seen any gardens. I know there are. Everybody from New Jersey, yes, I know there are lots of fancy places in New Jersey.
Yeah, I know.
But when you've been to both Newark and what was the other place I've been to, like around Hoboken, wherever that is nothing there. There's nothing there.
Stacy High Limit Slots is in here.
Well,
wow.
hey there, Stacy.
Hey, Stacy. Good to see you.
How you doing, Stacy?
Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well.
So if he decides to go, he won't be playing, and I will be on him like a hawk, pushing him out the door, like go get a lobster roll or something, you know. But yeah, we're definitely hope to really go to Atlantic City, see everybody, because if I don't make it on this trip, it will at least be until next year before we can go again. The schedule's filled up. We're already planning for G2E. I have got for all the members, I've got things going out. For non-members, I got things going out. We'll have the sign-up form coming soon, and that will be for if you're interested in coming. We need to know your shirt size, all that stuff. Our meetup is 100% free. If you get on our list for the G2E, we will send you the free entry into the expo as soon as we get a link to one. This is all from the industry gaming, and we send those out to whenever we can find them. We had about, coming to G2E last year, to our meetup was close to 70-something people.
Yeah.
That actually came to the expo was at least 30.
I think about 30.
Somewhere around 30. It was awesome. It was
great.
So great. I like to see regular players in G2E. This should not be an industry-only event. This should be everybody seeing these games, because these people who pick out these games are in the industry. They're separated from you, the player. And this is your opportunity to play these games, and then you can send an email to whatever and say, hey, I like this game. Please play it. Please get it.
Right.
And there's so many games you never see. They're gone because the industry people look at them and go, who's going to play that game?
That's right.
Me. I'm going to play that game.
They don't talk to players. It's weird. It's an odd thing.
That really is odd.
And Kestrel's asking with the $10 super chat. Thank you,
Kestrel.
Is Dave going to live stream at WinStar this month? I don't know about this month.
This month,
going to be up there?
probably not.
Yeah.
This month, WinStar, probably not, because I just got back from a week and a half being out from work for the cruise. I've got this next week, and then I'm going to be in Vegas for the 3 days for World Series of Poker, and then come back, and it's 4th of July. Then the weekend after that is possibly Atlantic City. And then the weekend after that, I'm actually visiting friends in Gulfport, and I may stop off at the Gulfport Casino just to look at it. If I can record, that'd be great. But I haven't been there since pre-Katrina, so I would like to see that place again. And I don't know. WinStar's on lower on the list.
It's not going to happen this month, I don't think.
Yeah, this I don't even know about this summer.
Yeah.
Of going to WinStar, and I'm okay with that. WinStar's great.
Yeah.
But
we need a break from that too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mike, Frederick has a good question. So quick question. You guys, does a slot machine know how much money goes in before it pays on RTP setting that it takes a lot to put into takeout payouts? So please remember that slot machines, every spin is a separate, independent RNG event. And so what that translates to is it does not care what has happened in the past. It doesn't say this X amount of money has been put into the machine, I need to start giving out some, or the opposite of that. It may feel that way sometime because you feel these hot and cold cycles, but that's just part of randomness. Like that has to happen in randomness, right? You have these cycles, like flipping a coin, it's 50-50, but how do you explain flipping 6 heads in a row? It's still 50-50, the odds have not changed, but you have those hot and cold streaks, and that's what's actually going on inside of a slot machine.
Hot and cold machines?
Yeah.
No, he didn't mean that.
I was using the quotes. So out of all the things, I think this is one of the things that people feel, I think can be the most dangerous, because whether you're chasing firecrackers, which are just an illusion, or whatever you're chasing, bonus rounds, or you're sitting down at a machine because you just witnessed somebody put thousands through it and they didn't get a bonus, so you think it's due. Slot machines are never due in that situation, right? There are some advantage play slots, that's a different story, but that's less than 3% of the slots that you find on the floor these days. But just try to remember that each spin is a separate event. So don't try to make betting decisions based on what you've seen in the past.
That's mainly what I was doing at the cruise in the casino, is telling everybody about all these false things. There were so many people of, I just saw them put in this much money, so it's going to pay out. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And then this is so close because the pot's full, this is done, all that. I'm like, no, it's not.
Right.
And I actually was telling Mark something. He's like, but that doesn't make any sense. So when I'm playing a game, okay, that has the pots, the pigs, or whatever, if I'm going to play it, I play it to where I find the one that has the maximum full on it. And he's like, but it doesn't make any difference. And I'm like, I know. But think of how many games are like that. There's very few that are to that point where they're maximum about everything out. So that keeps me from playing it. So it's like, I'm almost like, no, I don't want to play that because I'll see it. And as soon as it starts getting bigger, the chase starts going in my brain. Right. So if I go for it when it's already big, I'm like, forget it. I can walk away because it was big when I got here, and it's nowhere closer to hitting.
I like that reasoning.
It's a weird reasoning, but it
works.
keeps me from playing a lot of these games because I know that just because they're looking, I can hit it any time. But if I purposely look for ones that have to be maxed, then I don't do it otherwise. So
makes sense.
And I do the same thing with Class 2s as well.
Yeah.
I look for the ones that have all the diamonds or all the whatever.
It doesn't make any difference.
The 3 barrels that are full, because if I don't see that, I don't play it. And so it keeps me away from it.
Okay. As long as you understand his reason.
Yes. It keeps me away from it.
What happened?
Bassmaster, there are no updates yet. We have a call with Downtown Grand this week.
Oh.
But important to note, our Downtown Grand phrase has changed.
Oh, yes.
So everyone was using Gamble Smart, Gamble Safe, and apparently a lot of people who didn't even know the channel existed were using it. So they asked us to change it, and we said, absolutely. The new phrase is David Mark from Gamble Smart sent me. So that's it. David Mark from Gamble Smart sent me. And now this will change if it gets to that point again. And we're fine with that because that means people need to start coming back and getting it. Yep. It will not be a persistent code forever. But we're going to start releasing it again. People are going to know about it and all that stuff. And it's going to happen, and we're going to be back here. And that's great for the popularity of the code. A lot of people are going to Downtown Grand and using this code, which is great because they're supportive of us. Yep. We're going to be there for G2E. We will be there for G2E. That's what our discussion is going to be about. But it's going to be about all the little details for you, like the slot tournament, like the free hot dog and beer, like the room rate special. What am I missing? I think that's about it. Okay.
Yeah. So if you get our names backwards, that's all right too. So if you say Mark and Dave from Gamble Smart,
they won't care. Samurai Jin, the G2E passes are person specific. We'll give you a link to register, and then you go and register for your own self, and that is your name on that pass, so you can get in.
Once we get all of the details figured out, we'll put a landing page on our website that'll have every single thing listed, scheduled times, links to get your pass, all that kind of stuff.
Someone else had something else that I missed it. Gary Slot Bonus. How do I learn to do live stream slot playing on my channels? I did it once, but it was not able to. I tried to do live once, but I was not able to. So it does take time and practice to do this. I recommend doing lives that are a private or, like whatever, to where it's not published, so you can get used to do that. Did I do that my first time? No. I played with it live, and you just see my face going.
Yeah, you're like looking at it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Get used to doing it that way.
Yeah.
You can go live from any channel. You don't have to have 1,000 subscribers to go live. They've dropped the number of subscribers down. I believe it's 500 now before you go live. You still have to be 1,000 to be monetized. But from your desktop, you can do it instantly right now, even if you have 1 subscriber.
That's right.
Play around with it. Get used to doing it. Like I said, do unlisted or do a private live just so you can get used to what buttons do what. Learn what all the buttons do before you go live, so you don't automatically accidentally end it, which also
we've
I've
all
done.
done that. Yeah,
but just keep at it. You'll figure it out.
All right. 45 RPM says, at what moment is the RNG determined? When the first credit is entered, When the reels are actually spun, thanks guys. So the moment that you commit to the bet, which means spin reels or pulling the handle, that is when the RNG pulls occur. So there's one RNG pool for every reel that is on the game, whether it's a physical reel or a virtual video display, doesn't matter. There's an RNG pool for every single reel. So 5 reel, 5 RNG pools, and then that determines what you end up seeing. But yeah, it doesn't matter like what happens before you press spin, whether you pull the handle or not, or you put money in, or you put a voucher in, or you put free play in. None of that stuff makes any impact on the RNG whatsoever. But it's decided that the actual instant, that's why sometimes when you press it and then you get the wolfie coming out, your luck has arrived, you
Luck
guys
has
know
arrived.
how did it know? It's because it already knows. Every single slot machine, the minute that you push that spin
The
button,
microsecond, the
it's
nanosecond.
done. It's already figured out. Everything else is eye candy, animation.
You're
and
just
stuff
along
like
for the ride at that
You're
point.
just along for the ride.
You're just sitting there waiting to see what happens.
And that's why fast stopping doesn't do anything.
Yep.
There was another good question in here that I think is important to pull up. So Burgett says, why do the pigs always pop when they are the biggest? They actually don't, but that's the psychology behind it, okay? They have tricked you enough into thinking that they only pop when they get big, but I assure you it can pop
One
when
coin
it's very
can
small.
pop them.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen. It's happened on live streams a few times.
Yeah. The thing is, the reason that they feel, and again, it's all psychology, is because they build very fast. So the firecrackers go up really fast, the pigs get bigger fast, and then they kind of hold steady. But it's not because it's coming soon or anything like that. Every single spin on those games is an independent event, and the bonus can be awarded. Look inside of the game rules. It actually does say that. Now, they use broken English in there that doesn't make any sense, but they do explain it in there that it's just for illusion or entertainment purposes only kind of thing. But it seems that way because they've tricked you into making it feel that way. So.
And from Cascade Kid 2, is Bubble Crap's outcome determined by RNG? Thanks in advance. No. Bubble Craps has to play like regular craps. So all the RNG does, there is an RNG involved in this, because the vibrations that are involved, that's what the RNG is. How many vibrations at what force? That's all they can do, because the dice are still independent dice. They have to be. It still has to play as a table game would play. So the outcomes are still dependent on dice moving around. So no, that doesn't control anything as far as the results.
And Martis Brown says, on rich little hens, what is the top of the hens before it pops? So the only one that has a must-hit by component is the free games pig, which I think is the blue one. It's on the left. And I think it's 99, so it's got a lot of ways to go.
I have never hit 99 before.
No, I've never seen it anywhere high.
It's like
you can,
23,
but
I think,
you can check the
25.
game rules. If there are any must-hit by components like that, they'll be in the game rules so you can see
77. That's been my high,
it.
77.
77, wow.
And it happened on the cruise.
Yeah.
Do you guys know if you can use your Las Vegas Advisor no resort fee with the deal from Downtown Grand? I do not know that. They seem to be pretty easygoing, so I would imagine they'd be okay with it. So,
yeah.
And also, we haven't talked about the G2E code yet, but it may or may not be no resort fees, so we'll find that out.
And Boom Boom says, great show. I have a question. I recently played some old WMS games, and I've seen glitches where patterns look abnormal. Is this a sign that the machine will not pay for a while? No, there's no patterns. Well, let me correct myself. There are patterns, but there's no predictable patterns. Okay, so you may see some, why do I get sevens twice in a row? Okay, you might say, well, that's a pattern because I got, 2 red sevens in a row. But it doesn't mean anything. Machines, remember, as human beings, we are pattern seeking. It's built into all of us. It's inside of our brain. We look for patterns to try to explain what is going on, especially when something is random. It's just something that we just don't grasp as human beings. It's very difficult to look past. And so we always start to lean towards seeing things like glitches, like you described, like things flashing, or the top dollar bonus symbol is above and below the line, so it must be coming soon.
It's coming soon.
It's coming soon,
I have got a video out there somewhere, me and Mandalay Bay, this is over on Gamble the Globe, where the top dollar symbol hit above the line, I want to say at least 20 to 30 times, and I never got the bonus. So Oh, that
Yeah.
game. That was at Mandalay Bay. Don't play that one.
That's right. It doesn't matter.
It's
Doesn't matter.
oh man.
Yeah, but just don't try to be pattern seeking, especially with making betting decisions, thinking that something's coming around the corner. Because again, every single spin is a separate event.
And Mama Luck Slots. I know the Dancing Drums pick bonus is predetermined. Are the games that you actually pick? So are they also predetermined? Well, you're picking your volatility in those games. So when you pick the 10 free games, 8 free games, 5 free games, the mystery, you're picking your volatility. Yes, you have more chances to win at the 5 free games, but fewer games. I always pick in the middle. I always pick the 8 free games. Mainly it's because I don't want to risk having fewer games that also pay me nothing. I'd rather have more games that have a chance at paying me nothing. So, but no, that's one. You're in the free games. It operates as any other game would. It's a fully independent event for each game.
Right.
There's no. You're the only picking how many games you want, and what your volatility is. Never pick mystery.
Yes.
Never ever pick mystery.
Never pick mystery, guys. It's heavily weighted to penalize you, to make it worse than just picking one of those.
Yeah.
Can you get lucky and get the maximum
Sure.
number of lines in 15? Yes, but it's so difficult that in the long run, it's a bad play. So never pick the mystery. Dave and I both agree right in the middle. That's where we always go.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of it's middle volatility, little risky, but
But still good. You're
potential
going to get
reward,
something. You have enough games, and remember, you still have a chance at getting the pick bonus.
Yeah.
So,
or retriggers.
Or retriggers.
Yeah, the more spins.
So the more spins you have,
Yep.
the better chance you have of getting those. Well, not the better chance, but through more spins.
That's right. That's right. Let's see. Gary's slot bonus wins also says, if I were to buy a slot machine, do I have to keep the machine on all the time? Or is there an on and off button? If I buy the cost for a machine, less if I pick it up to a Nissan Rogue car. Yeah, you won't be able to pick it up in a Nissan Rogue, I don't think.
Unless it's like an S2000.
small, maybe an
Like a
S2000.
short top, maybe.
But they're kind of big and
Yeah.
heavy, so... but the answer is no, you do not need to leave it on all the time. You do need to leave it plugged in. There are batteries inside of there. And if the batteries drain all the way down, then you get into some trouble where you have to reconfigure the machine, things like that. Shout out to Stacy. Stacy, if you're still in here, I saw your comment. I need to get up there and work on your machines. She's had hers unplugged because they've been moving around for a very long time. So I guarantee you all her batteries are shot. So.
I could go down there and check it now. I can
Yeah,
help
there
out,
you go.
Stacy. I know how to do some of that stuff. Or I can call Mark and
not
ask
the
him.
game she has.
I could call Mark and ask him.
But so because hers have been unplugged for so long, all those batteries are dead. And so not only do we need to replace the batteries, but every single one of them are going to have to be reprogrammed because the batteries drain too much. So, but no, you do not have to leave it on. There's an on-off switch. Now, it is recommended to leave them on as much as you possibly can because the impact on the components inside of the machine by being powered on and off so much can cause damage, like with the power supplies and things like that. It's not a big deal because those can always be replaced. But if we can cut down on the amount of surge that those things are getting from being turned on and off, the
Especially
better.
the power cycles.
But-
That's hard on circuitry. So these games are essentially 1990s computers.
Pretty much.
And
yeah.
it's the same exact thing back then of you didn't want to turn it off because you were afraid something wasn't going to come back on.
Yeah.
And that's still a very common thing in most computer systems. Is you get to an age and you're like, are these going to turn back on? I don't know.
That's right.
I've got servers at work. We
right.
still don't know if they're going to come back on. Who is it? Someone else just posted one.
While you're looking for it, so
it moved.
we do shameless plug. We do sell machines. In fact, Dave's down here right now because we're working on machines that are going out very soon from customer orders. Anything that you see behind us is for sale. Plus, we have a bunch of other stuff coming in very soon. If you go to our website, gamblesmart.net, click on Home Slots, we have an introduction video that will answer a lot of the questions that you have, like what kind of plugs do they require? Do I need to keep them on? How does the shipping work? How do I receive the machine? How do I get support? All that kind of stuff. It'll answer all your questions. I encourage you to watch that before you make any decisions. Don't rush into it. But we're here to help you. If you would like to have a machine at home, they're a lot of fun.
We have a lot of top dollars coming. We actually have a lot of top dollars
yeah.
we got to get refurbished.
So
ready to go. But
If you like top dollars, there's going to be a bunch of those in the store, but they generally go very fast. So be on the button if you're interested in those. But
so
definitely check it out.
EJ laughs a lot. Hey guys, after seeing the new games coming out, I am convinced that the longer the game tile, the more volatile the game. I can see that. I can actually see that. I was reading that. I was like, yeah, I can see that happening.
Super Buffalo, Platinum, Ultra, double spin, wheel, progressive, free games.
It's longer the game, except for Bao Suto. That's pretty short, and that's the Firecracker game.
Yeah. We may live stream tomorrow of us working on the machines. You never know. Make sure you have that bell clicked. We did one of those a couple weeks ago, which was a lot of fun. We had a couple hundred people in there watching us work on the machines. So if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so that you know when we do go live. It won't be planned. It'll just be, hey, we're about to work on this machine. Boom, let's turn it on.
I've got to replace a button panel in this one over here. So that'll be a fun live because you're going to hear a lot of swearing.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm going to have to get up underneath there.
We won't be so polished like we are right now. If we are polished, I don't know.
I know I'm going to get like a bolt or something in my eye. Be like, we're not insured.
That's right. So Lance Blum is asking, what are some good sites to look at? Looking for an airplane slot in Denver Duck and Original Lobster Mania slots to buy. So I can get all of those for you. So if you're interested,
that's a G23 machine, right?
A G23 for the Lobster Mania. Airplane is a WMS, so that's would be a BB2, which I can get for you. Denver Duck, I'm not too familiar with that one, but I think that's something that I could get also. But I definitely have Airplane and Lobster Mania. I do have the software for both of those. So we could work that out, Lance. Fill out our contact form on our website at gamblesmart.net. You can either do it on the home slots page or just on our homepage, and just let me know, and we'll respond back to you and see what we can do.
And Scotty 5280 is, I have a G23 and the fan is super loud. Anything I can do to fix it? You can replace the fan.
Yeah.
Most of these components are just standard computer components that you can find on Amazon. Just want to make sure to get the voltage and the pin configuration right, but you can actually splice those wires together. I had to do it on mine because I had 3 fans on mine, and 2 of them, the bearings were going out, and it was crazy loud. It's still loud, but it's not as loud. But the thing to keep in mind is that these things have a lot of fans in them because they do produce a lot of heat. The cases don't breathe very well. There's
so you
not
don't
a lot
want
of
to just
airflow.
unplug it. Yeah.
Don't want to unplug it and unplug it. But that is one thing to consider is when you don't hear them in the casino because the casino has background music, all the other things going along, people and everything else. But these machines are loud. They do produce heat just like any other computer would.
Yep.
So keep that in mind. Do I still want another one? Absolutely. I want another one.
So, yeah, and here's the other thing, guys, with that is that Dave and I take a lot of pride in the machines that, and we're going to have a customer testimonial thing too, because we've shipped out many, many machines. We take a lot of pride in the machines that we get. We do not just, oh, it's working, ship it out. We clean it, we gut everything, we take all the components out, we spray it out, we wipe it down, we make sure there's no dust, we change the batteries so you have fresh batteries. We also,
I'm crazy about making sure there's no dust.
If there's anything wrong with the display or anything like that, we swap it out with something else because we really want to try to stand behind these things as best as we can. It's a little bit more effort on our part, but it's a fully refurbished machine. It's not just a machine we bought on Craigslist and said, here you go.
And also, keep in mind, we're talking about what we sell during our live, but we don't have any commercials during our live.
No, we don't.
we put them on after the fact.
That's right.
But for you guys first watching it, there's no commercials because we want to give you a better experience. So we throw in a little bit extra.
The last thing I'll say with that too is that, guys, we're trying to provide all this information for free. And if you've talked to any other YouTuber out there right now, YouTube revenues are down significantly for this space.
Across the board.
It's bad. Like we're making well under half what we did this time last year.
Yeah.
And so to keep things going, we actually do not pay ourselves anything right now.
Nope.
Right now we have not paid ourselves. And so we're looking at building out the slot machine business because number one, it's a passion of ours, but number two, we think it's a good fit for you guys. And if we can keep the channel free and keep us, a well-established company, all that, this is what we want to do. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. People have been really enjoying it. All right, let's get back to some questions here.
Bridget asked, does that also apply on Class 2 when the pigs pop? No, the Class 2 is all about the bingo card. So in anything Class 2 related, so anything like the pigs, the pots, the everything in class 2 is all about a bingo pattern. You have to match that bingo pattern in order to make an event happen.
Yeah.
And so that's what everything is controlled. There's no RNG in class 2 in the bingo games because the bingo is the random number generator, essentially. It handles that variation. So that's what's getting the, independent nature of every spin is bingo. So just keep that in mind. Everything that happens in a class 3 is RNG. Everything that happens in class 2 bingo is because of bingo.
Yeah. But there's still an RNG component, but like you said, it's on the bingo.
It's on the bingo side.
So Richard, a follow-up question to that. I've always been curious about class 2 versions of, say, Mystery of the Lamp. How do bingo wins translate to popping bonus rounds? Does an RNG take over once the winning bingo card is determined? So one of the things that they've gotten very good at these days, especially in the last 5 or 6 years, is being able to emulate class 2 results to be very similar to class 3 and pretty much undetectable by any kind of, average player, right? And the way they do it is a lot of different ways. So there's basically just a general rule in order for a machine to be class 2 certified. And that is that it has to be playing the game of bingo, there has to be more than one person playing, and that somebody has to win the game ending pattern. And the game ending pattern is when you fill up the board, and that's what tells the bingo server, bingo, somebody won bingo. They give you a penny.
Here's your penny. Here's your penny.
Or sometimes they don't give you anything at all, but somebody has to win the full bingo game before it starts back over again. Everything that happens in between that is like the Wild West. There's an RNG that is distributing bingo winning patterns out there to people, just like a class 3 would do on the individual game. That component is not related at all to the number of people that are playing, time of day, when you press the button, all that kind of stuff. That stuff is just random distribution of winning bingo patterns that associate themselves to prizes, right? And so as long as they have that component, think of it like it's like one of those silly laws where, oh, you're not allowed to cross the street on foot. Well, what if I take a skateboard? It's like
you're still crossing the street.
You're still crossing the street on foot, but you're riding something. So it's like one of those things where it's, as long as they have the basic components of a class 2 bingo card, then they can kind of do the randomness in the middle for the random prize distribution. It's very involved. If you guys really want to geek out, I have a document from, it's not touched.
Oh, damn it.
That had, you can scroll through, from Tribal Gaming. Happy to send it to you guys. It's very difficult to understand, but it explains the whole bingo server, how it works, and all that kind of stuff.
All right, question from Ultima Bushido. So I went to the casino with $3K and left with $300. What machine should I be playing for my first ever hand pay jackpot? So Pokeband had already said it to you, is don't chase hand pays.
Never.
So Mark and I were just having this conversation, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I said, it wasn't until, remember, keep in mind, I've been playing for 30 plus years, okay? I've been playing since I was 21. Actually, I've been playing since I was 18, but I count it from playing 21. And I never got a hand pay until like 2021. And it was just sort of an accident because it happened on Double Top Dollar, the same game I've been playing forever. But it was just sort of like, bam, there's your hand pay. I never wanted a hand pay. I never knew that was a thing, actually, that you're supposed to go for them. Because think about the logic of a hand pay. There's 24% tax right off the bat.
Yeah.
So I always pose the question, would you rather win $1,200 or would you rather win $950?
That's right.
And people always like, the $1,200, it's more. Actually, no, the $950 is more. Because after taxes, that's where you're going to end up. You actually end up slightly less than $950. So don't chase the hand pay. Don't go after the hand pay because it's probably costing you a lot more money. Try coming down in your bets. If you happen to get a hand pay, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But don't chase it by betting higher, all right?
Yeah.
Play some grade 3 real games. Play in that dollar, in that range, 2 credits, 3 credits a spin. Try to look for, with a $3,000, if that's regular budget, try to look for a max bet of like $10 a spin. And I'm talking like 2 credit $5 in a 3 reel is going to take you a lot longer to spin down.
Yeah.
Stay away from the video type games. If you do play them in a lower denomination. Play them for like $3 a spin. That way you're slowing yourself down. Don't fast stop. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the playing. Don't chase those hand pays. They're going to bite you in the ass if you do.
Yep.
Just let it happen naturally.
Well said. And you even pointed it out in there, Ultimate Bushido, that I guess it will happen one day. That's right.
Exactly.
It will happen
one day.
probably when you least expect it is when you'll
And
get
I
it.
tell you, when I got mine, I was like, what happened? I couldn't
Call
like,
attendant. What does that mean?
Did I break it? What happened? I know I hit something good because the 100 and the 150 and the other 50 lit up and the times two, and I was like, what is that? So I know it was good, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, before we get in these CPAs after us, technically speaking, you're supposed to report all wins.
All winnings.
All winnings. But
We are not CPA. We're not
but the
tax advisors.
casinos, we can say this because it's factual, but the casinos only report to the IRS if it's $1,200.
$1,200 or more.
That's the only
Yeah.
time they identify you. So we've had this question a lot where people say, well, can they just look at my player's card, coin in, coin out, and report that to the IRS? No, they can't do that.
Yep.
You're technically supposed to claim that. But
You're supposed to do that.
yeah, you're supposed to do that. But the
You
only
know-
time they will is if it's $1,200.
You know what was great? All the people in Canada I met, because was up there at Grand Villa Casino. About 6 to 8 people came around and said, hey, and they all told me the same thing. There are no taxes on any jackpot winnings or lottery winnings in Canada. None.
Please.
I was like, what do you mean there's none? He's like, they consider that to be your money.
It is. It's already taxed.
It's already
It's
taxed.
already been taxed.
We use taxable income. We use taxed income to play these games. That's taxing.
I'm
but
putting the
taxed.
risk on the line, not the government.
Yeah. So
Okay, anyway.
completely agree with all my Canadian friends there. That is a great thing.
We can only hope
Really
one
good.
day. Yeah.
Also, Game Sense guys, if you're watching, the 2 people I met, Rory and Freed, I think. It was great talking to you guys at both casinos in Canada. Really hoping we do something with Game Sense. So if you're watching, we're still thinking about you.
Yep.
I gotta send
Yeah,
an email
more to
those
come on
guys.
that for
Gotta
sure.
send an email to those guys.
And Stefan Plays the Drum says, I know if you have different denominations on machine, there are different payback percentages. There might be. There's no guarantee that there is. They can certainly set up all the denominations to be the same, and we've actually seen that and witnessed that. But generally speaking, the higher the denomination, the higher the payback percentage setting on the machine. But please remember, and I have to say this every time this comes up because I think it's really important that people understand that RTP, or payback percentage, return to player on a slot machine, is a long-term event. It's not something that you will witness in the short term. A machine set at the lowest possible setting of around 83% can still outperform a machine set at the highest at 98% in the short term. Anything can happen because these things are built to last a very, very long time before all of the probabilities play out and things like that, and it reaches that payback percentage. So just because you've heard, and it is technically a true fact, that the higher the denomination, typically the higher the payback percentage, you should never start betting higher because of that. That's the slippery slope.
That much.
It's not something you're going to notice. And I don't care if you said, well, I just switched to $10 and I got a bonus on the first spin. That was a coincidence. It just happened to happen. You hit the RNG at the right
You hit
point.
that button at the right time.
Congratulations. So please be careful with that.
I always tell people the fraction of a percentage from betting the lowest to betting the highest that you get as a gain for betting that is not worth trying to bet more because you're not going to get as many spins on those higher bets.
Right.
And you're talking about such a small fraction, it's not going to affect you in the short term.
Very true. Real quick follow-up question. Can a game with 2 credit options have different payback percentages based on no? So the payback percentage is only on the denomination. It's not on the credit bet inside of it.
And Nate, never gamble in a casino. My local casino is under massive expansion. You can't beat them. The problem is that people go after trying to beat a casino. They always want to say, I can beat the house.
You can't.
Here's just the thing.
Not in the long term,
You
anyway.
can, but you need to hit and run.
Yes.
But people don't want to hit and run. They want to stay. I won $200. I'm going to go for the rest of it. I'm like, no, that's when you leave.
Yeah, that's right.
You go when you're up, and then you can't lose at that point because you're up. You've left.
And some people they also feel like, well, the casino's going under major renovations, so they need to be able to pay for that. So they're going to lower the odds and stuff. They make so much money.
So much.
Guys, please try to think about something for a second. As a casino operator, you have, let's say, the average casino, has 1,000 machines? Big casino?
Yeah, I'd say about
1,000
average,
machines. And each one of those set on average at 90% return to the player. So 10%
That's the
to the
national
casino.
average. That's industry verified.
There's 1,000 machines that for every dollar put into the machine, they are getting 10 cents. And they're not doing anything with those machines. They're just sitting there. They don't have to pay dealers. They don't have to have security. They don't have to have pit bosses. They don't have to have all this stuff. It's just a machine sitting there making the money. The only thing casinos, and I've been on this side of it, guys, the only thing casinos care about, maximizing the space with as many slot machines as they can get away with, and getting slot machines in there that people actually want to play. Because the only time casinos lose money is when people are not playing the games,
empty.
right? That's all they care about. If a game is not being played, they are not making money. It doesn't matter what payback percentage they set it on. So just try to keep that in mind. Like that's what's going on here. That's what casinos are looking for. What you got?
Oh, Rosemary Teddy. She's going over here.
Oh yeah, I see it. I saw it. There it is.
There it is, right there. Put that up.
Rosemary Teddy, Mark and Dave, have a wonderful weekend. I'm not sure if you have children, but if you do, happy Father's Day. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
Dave's
Rosemary.
a father.
Yep. Going back tomorrow, so I can have Father's Day.
Or Sunday.
Sunday.
Saturday.
No, Saturday. Going tomorrow, Saturday.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'll be there
I'm
Sunday.
still screwed up from being on this shift for so long.
And she says, hang in there, Mark. You can do this. That's right. You can do
no
that.
No problem, man. I got this.
Everyone can do it.
I got this.
You can do it. And then here's a good one. Where was that one at? I lost it.
What was
Oh, it is. Mike Frederick. Since I started watching you guys last year, I've gotten 3 hand pays, and I appreciate everything you guys do. Keep up the good work, Mark and Dave. Thank you so much, Mike. Keep at it. Keep playing strong. Remember, hand pays aren't the whole thing, but I'm glad you're getting those payouts, and I hope you're taking that profit home and keeping it.
That's right, guys.
Keep that profit out of the casino.
Yeah.
Take that away from them.
The reason you guys lose is you don't know when to get up and walk away. Like that's just like I did.
Here's a great question.
Okay.
From Brian Bailey right here. What is a new game that is lower in volatility than we realize? Nothing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There is no new game that's coming out that I would consider to be low in volatility.
Yeah, they're always trying to trick you.
We're really just at everyone is teasing medium to medium high. So like that's the low end now is medium to medium high. And now remember, we cannot gauge volatility just by itself. Huff and Puff. Huff and Puff, if Huff and Puff was the only game that ever existed, there were no other games in the universe except for Huff and Puff, it would be low volatility.
Right.
Because it's the only thing. We don't have anything to compare it at. But if we compare to Double Diamond as a very low volatility game, we can say Huff and Puff is a high volatility game. You can't just have one and not have anything to compare it to.
That's right. I think what they're doing more now is making games that are higher in volatility, but making you feel like they aren't.
Yeah. More features.
That's what the mathematicians, the good mathematicians that build the programming behind these games are doing. If they can find out that because sometimes you play Huff and Puff and you actually don't feel like it's high volatility, but it actually is. But it tricks you by giving you a lot of teases or a lot of bonus rounds, but then the bonus rounds are terrible. But you got a bonus round. You were excited. You forgot that it was terrible. You know, all these things, that is what the ultimate game designer is looking for, is how do we get people to play a game that's higher in volatility, because that's what the casinos want, but make it feel like it's a little active, you know? And that's what I think the industry is doing right now, and you just got to be able to look past that. But low volatility games,
yeah, they're gone.
They're just going away.
And it's higher bets. And Robert Essence for the $5 super chat.
Thank you, Robert.
Have you seen or met any celebrities while gambling? Any funny stories? I don't get celebrity starstruck. Like
I don't either.
Like so,
I'll just say, oh look, oh, but you got to tell the story.
Which one?
The one in Big Ben.
It
wasn't while gambling.
So it wasn't while gambling. But this is just me. This is like I don't get starstruck by people. So I'm in the Big Bend area, Texas. I'm actually in a little town called Marfa. It's actually extremely well known as a huge artist community here in Texas. Matthew McConaughey was in the coffee shop where I was getting coffee. So I say I have coffee with Matthew McConaughey. He was just standing there. And my wife goes, I think that guy looks just like Matthew McConaughey. I'm like, he looks exactly like Matthew McConaughey. And everyone's like, a picture, or it didn't happen. I'm like, I'm not going to bother the guy. He wasn't there being Matthew McConaughey. He was there being a guy getting coffee on Sunday.
That's right.
So I just kind of let people be the people. You know, I don't like to bother people. But now, like for me, seeing like Jason, Mr. Handpay for the first time was like, that's Jason, that's
yeah.
Mr. Handpay, that kind of thing. Because I get excited about meeting people in my space that I haven't seen before, and I just want to say hi to. And then there's some people that you meet and you're like, wish I hadn't have met that person.
Now I've changed my mind.
Now I've changed my mind, But I have met several celebrities. I just don't get starstruck over them because I know that they want to be treated like a real person. And also the kind of thing I really think about is that celebrities are just people that are good at something. Whether you're good at football or good at acting or something else, that's what you're good at.
Yeah.
And I imagine a lot of them would be rather nice to be treated. I go, hey, how you doing, Matthew? That kind of thing. But that's probably how I would do.
Yeah.
I'd probably say something stupid like, all right.
Can you say Murph?
Can you say Murph?
Murph.
I still think that was a good movie. Interstellar was a good movie.
It's a great movie.
There are people who give it a hard.
Who says it's a bad movie?
There are people who give it a hard time. And I'm like,
it was an epic
because
movie.
there was so much science in it, and
I loved it.
I thought it was great.
I watch it once a year. I love it. I guess for me, not gambling related, but I met Chuck Norris in the airport once.
I met Chuck Norris at his ranch once.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I didn't meet him. He was working out in front of his ranch. And I took a picture, and I realized I got the back of Chuck Norris.
He was literally at a gate. I was in Houston, and he was literally sitting there at a gate. And I walked by him, I'm like, that's got to be him. But I was like Dave, like I didn't want to bother him. Like I'm just
it's Chuck Norris.
I know it's Chuck Norris.
He can kill you with a look.
How do I approach this? And so one of the things that we had in common is we both took the same karate growing up, Tang Soo Do. And so I was like,
you could beat Chuck Norris.
No, he could probably still whip my ass, even at his age. So I approached him. I said, hey, I thought that was you. I don't want to bother you, but I just said that, I studied Tang Soo Do as well as you did, and that my instructor was actually inducted into the whatever the thing that they have for
the martial arts.
Master, the martial arts.
Yeah, martial arts.
At the same time that you were, and I got to see you then, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you, so I just wanted to say thanks. And he handed me a card with his signature on it. It was really cool.
Super nice. I've heard he's a great guy.
And then suddenly the mob was just, everybody knew he was there, and I felt so bad for him because it was just like,
it was going to happen.
His wife was
sooner or
trying
later.
to get him away, and he's like, we got to go, and it's just, that's my story anyway. All right. I like what Majestic said.
Yeah, I should have said gig 'em. That's all right, gig 'em eggs.
It's like, I met this two guys at Circa standing on a pallet talking about gambling. I think they were named Mark and Dave. I remember that. Boy, that was rough. Those pallets.
You want to talk about looking as trashy as possible. It was last year's G2E. We tried everything we could to get Circus involved, to get Slots and Fun involved, and eventually came down to my suitcase full of all the T-shirts and bags. We laid it out on top of some pallets because they were doing work. This year will be much better.
Yeah.
At least 3 pallets with a curtain over it or something, The pallets will at least be waist high with a drape or something over it.
Yeah, that was our first attempt, so it is what it is.
But what we learned was a lot. We learned a lot from that. So this year's G2 will be even better. I'm starting to work on the shirts now. So.
Yeah, we're going to get it. So Ted N says, Mark, don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. Like that's
good.
the thing.
Well, you should feel bad.
But
you should feel bad, and then you should come out of it and realize that you're good.
Let me rephrase it. Like I was frustrated with myself, right? But when dealing with addictions or problems like this, like the worst thing that you can do is beat yourself up about it, because then you just get more depressed, and then you're not in the mentality to try to fix it, right? And so I feel great now. That happened 3-4 days ago. I feel great now because I have a plan in place and I feel good about it. Like I'm committed to this. So you said the same thing happened to you, $1,000 loss in less than 15 minutes playing $10 bets 2 months ago at Carnival Cruise. Went to a casino with and didn't gamble a cent. Self-control. Yeah, that's
what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I'm not quite ready to enter a casino and not gamble. I think I could do it, but I'll be depressed and thinking about it the whole time. And that's not good, right? That's not something I need right now. So the best way is just to stay away for me, personally.
And that's the hard part, is the temptation's going to be there.
Yeah.
The temptation's going to be there. But this is also a good thing of, hey, look, if you can go to a casino and not gamble, explore the rest of the casino. Explore the resort part. WinStar has a great pool.
They do.
I've only been to one of them. There's a second one.
I haven't been to any of them.
The pools are nice. The
Yeah.
drinks are
They're
good.
real nice, though.
The
I've seen
service
outside.
is nice. They're redoing the one pool. The Cascade pool is the one I want to go to this year at some point. Not this year. It's not going to happen, but it might in September.
Yeah.
But case in point, so I'm staying at Bellagio in a couple weeks. I have never been to the Bellagio pool, ever. I've only been to the Park MGM pool once. I've never been to New York. I've never been to MGM Grand Pool. The number of places I've stayed and I've never been to the pool is crazy.
Yeah.
So it's time to explore more of it, So that's important.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Majestic is kissing up to Jodes. Jodes is the best.
She's not in here anymore,
Yeah.
but she is the best. Not that I'm partial. or
Yeah.
anything.
Liz, you need to talk to Mimi. She's got some still things going on. She's like, no, you can tell when this happens. So she was trying to tell me when the firecrackers are going to light.
Oh, no.
Well, here's the thing. She meant once it's going to happen. She's like, there's a tell. I'm like, okay,
yeah. There
yes.
is a tell when you know it's going to happen.
But I
Yeah.
thought she was talking about before it happens.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
no, there's not. No, there is. She was talking about when it is going to hit, and there is that little tell. And there are several games. There's like something that you can tell once it's triggered, okay? Not before. No time before. And
That's
that was the
right.
miscommunication part.
That's right. That makes sense now. You've recovered.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
it was fun having Mimi on that cruise. She was hilarious.
All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight, but thank you so much for being here. We
Thank you,
really do
guys.
appreciate you. Stay tuned for a video I'll put out if you guys want to join me in a no slot summer. I like that.
No slots summer.
I think that sounds good.
Oh, do we need a shirt? Maybe we need a shirt for this.
Maybe we do. But thank you so much, guys, for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it, Dave. Thanks for coming down.
Hey, we got to
got a
get
lot
this
of
work
work.
done.
Got a lot of work to do tomorrow. If you're interested in watching us, we'll live stream it tomorrow.
Yep.
And so make sure you subscribe and click the bell notification. We're just going to be working on slot machines for home users, and we'll answer questions when we can, all that kind of stuff. But hey, it's time to nerd out if you're not doing anything tomorrow afternoon. So
That's right.
thank you so much, guys. Really do appreciate you very, very much. You're what caused us to keep going, and we love the support. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, every one of you.
And as always, gamble smart.
Gamble safe.
Take care, guys.
See you soon.